Hello, guys. This is my post-match reaction to the Everton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3 Premier League win for Spurs. Fantastic result at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. To say that there was some gnashing of teeth in the second half would be an understatement. Tottenham had to work ridiculously hard to get that victory, but any win in the Premier League, particularly away from home, is a fantastic result. 2 goals from Mickey van der Ven, both from corners. And then the third goal from Pat Matasar in the 90th minute, and some absolutely huge saves from Vicario. Van der Ven was given man of the match, but for me, Guillermo Vicario has to be up there. He's had a brilliant week. He was absolutely top-notch at Monaco in the Champions League. Just looking at some away stats for Spurs, actually, 13 points, top of the away record in the Premier League, 0 defeats, top of the record there. Just absolutely brilliant away from home from Thomas Frank. We knew from people who'd watched Brentford for a long time that Thomas Frank was far superior in games where he doesn't have all the possession and he can pick teams off and use set pieces. And that is what is proving correct at Spurs. But Thomas Frank did make a tweak today. Rather than having the 2 wide players in Kudus and Audebert, he brought in 2 10s. So he had Siemens and Kudus as a 10. And that enabled Palhinha and Bentancur to be a lot better in the first half with the ball. It really did. And that allowed us not to be played through nearly as easily. And the reality is of that for me is why we got the 2 goals in the first half, because we allowed ourselves to get in positions where we could score from set pieces. And that gives us more options going forward. Now, I have to talk about the second half. Everton were just all over us in the second half. And that's the way it can be sometimes in the Premier League. But Tottenham's inability to keep the football is worrying. I'm not going to be too negative about a game where we've gone to a new stadium where a club are unbeaten. I'm not going to say too much about negative sides because we won 3-0 there. And in our captain, fantastic Mickey van der Ven, an unbelievable performance. However, we have to improve on the ball. We really do. And look, I have no doubt that when we have less than 10 injuries and we have Dominic Solanke up front, that will be more possible. For instance. But on that note, though, should mention Randall Kolo Muani started his first game for Spurs in the 9 today, and he was far better in the 9 than Richarlison has been in terms of holding the football up. And on that basis, that does give us more options. And like I said, I really like that Kudus and Simons in the 10 roles, and I wonder if we'll go to Newcastle on Wednesday night in the Carabao Cup and try and play the 2 10s as well. Thomas Frank pushing Mickey van der Ven towards the away fans. The away fans absolutely ecstatic. And Thomas Frank pointing at Van der Ven. Absolutely brilliant performance from him. I'm just going to go through what happened minute by minute in the game. Second minute, huge moment for Tottenham. Pedro Porro cleared the ball off the line from Jack Grealish, who was only about 5 yards out, Jack Grealish. You know, he was totally unmarked. Got a huge shot on it, and Porro in the right position. If we'd gone 1-0 down then, it would have been all sorts of trouble. 5th minute, Bentancur broke into the box, but nothing came of it. 9th minute, I made a note to say the best attacking interchange this season so far with the 2 10s. Siemens and Kudus playing well. 12th minute, Everton started putting the pressure on for the last few minutes then. 15th minute, great ball from Van der Ven in between the lines from Siemens. That was the first time we saw that. And then fantastic defending from Kudus in both positions, as I just watched Lucas Bergvall there giving the double fist up to the away fans. 17th minute, Spurs really lucky as Everton pressed us into a mistake. Vicario had to come out and clear it with his head. It would have been offside anyway. And then Kolo Muani did brilliantly to win the ball, win a corner for Spurs by beating Tarkowski on the outside after holding the ball up, driving forward. Tarkowski gets out for a corner, and from that corner, Kudus whipped it in. Bentancur shoulders it back from behind, from beyond the back stick, and Van der Ven on the line heads it in. Brilliant stuff. 20th minute, Xavi Simons went down. Looked like he might have stretched his knee there, which was a bit of a worry. He didn't play as brilliantly after that, I would say, to say the least, after the 20th minute. So I wonder if he had a bit of an injury. 23rd minute, the first of many brilliant saves from Vicario. It was going wide anyway, but he didn't know from a Ghana long shot. Then the 24th minute, the biggest bit of controversy in the game. Everton scored an equaliser. O'Brien from a corner, flicked in at the near post. But the ref was called to the VAR screen because 2 Everton players had sandwiched Vicario. And that did not enable him to come across his line to try and save the goal. And he nearly saved it anyway. And so it was given for offside, not because of the physicality. And for me, that was the correct decision. But Everton were livid about it. 28th minute, I just made a note saying Dye, a wonderful player. 30th minute, Danso, made a note to say Danso, constantly being left for one-on-ones from long balls from Everton. But he was able to deal with it all game pretty well, Kevin Danso. Considering how much we miss Romero on the ball, Danso has been a really great signing for Spurs, I think. They're just showing the Premier League table now, I think, on Sky Sports, or they're going to. Let's have a look. In the bottom half, Wolves 20th, West Ham 19th, Nottingham Forest 18th, Everton are in 14th. Fulham have had a bad start to the season. They're down in 17th. Brighton 13th. Newcastle in 12th, despite winning this weekend. Brentford, due to their win over Liverpool, up in 11th. So they've done really well. I'll carry on going until they show the top half. Oh, no, they're doing it now. Spurs up to third in the league. It's Arsenal first with 22 points. Bournemouth second, 18 points. Spurs third, 17 points. And good news for Spurs, a plus 10 goal difference, which is behind Arsenal, who are plus 13, the joint second with Man City, who lost 1-0 at Aston Villa today. So those of you so despondent after Spurs lost to Aston Villa last week, maybe don't be as despondent. I know it was at home, but Aston Villa are a decent side. Man United down to 6th now, Liverpool 7th, Sunderland in 4th place. If Spurs could just play a bit better at home, maybe this new 2-10s could give us more of an opportunity to get better on the ball at home. That's what I'm hopeful of. Anyway, I'll carry on. In the 33rd minute, really important moment when Mickey van der Ven didn't like something that Jordan Pickford said when a corner was about to come. So he got involved in a verbal scrap. And I love that leadership from van der Ven. He is a future Spurs captain for sure. And he had the armband today, of course, because of Romero's injury. 34th minute, nearly 2-0. A beautiful volley from Rodrigo Bentancur just outside the box, flew wide. 36th minute, brilliant from Kolo Muani. Ball came up to him and just with one touch played in Siemens with a little Cruyff touch. And Siemens had all the options coming forward. He had 2 men to his right, 1 to his left. He tries to play it to his left to Spence, which was the wrong decision anyway, and didn't get a pass on the ball. I'm going to try and blame the fact that he was a little bit injured, but not good from him. 38th minute, brilliant slide block from Van der Ven, stopped a ball coming across to Beto. 39th minute, a great cross from Ndiaye, touched out again by Van der Ven. He was brilliant in this kind of 5-10 minute spell before half time. Good defensive work in the 41st minute from Xavi Simons, won a goal kick for Spurs. 44th minute, Brennan Johnson cleared well at the near post. There were 7 minutes of added time in that first half. A free kick won by Simons at the beginning of that by slipping in a dangerous area, but the ball hit the wall. Bentancur then headed over for the ball from a corner. A beautiful diag from Spencer Brennan Johnson, who drove well. This was Johnson's best bit of play in the whole game. Just at the end of the first half, he drove into the box and won as a corner. And then just before half time, 2-0 Spurs from the Porro corner. Brilliant, flat, whipped in corner from the left-hand side, or from Pickford's right-hand side, and Van der Ven got up magnificently in front of the keeper. Then into the second half, the first 10 minutes of the second half, huge pressure from Everton. Spurs didn't really come out at all of the changing room, arguably for the whole half. They were very defensive and negative. 51st minute, I made notes say all over us. 52nd minute, another note, Spurs unable to hold up the ball. 53rd minute, the most unbelievable save, one of many unbelievable saves from Vicario, not only today, but this week, from an overhead kick from Beto. The ball bounced as well, and he just got his forearm on it. Absolutely fantastic. Kept us again at 2-0 up. 55th minute, I've made a note, say best piece of play this half was from Polinia, bringing the ball out in the 55th minute, led us to getting a long throw. 57th minute, great transition from Spurs, won a free kick just outside the box. Simons actually did well in this transition. It was Kudus who was fouled. Garner was booked for it, but Kudus' free kick hit the wall and went over, and the corner went all over everyone. Nothing came from that. 60th minute, Rishi and Bergvall on for Simons and Kolo Muani. Bergvall did bring some important energy into that last half an hour of the game. 64th minute, huge chance for Richarlison as a high ball into the channel from Pedro Porro. Misdefended, and Richarlison's in on the angle from the inside right. And all he needs to do, as far as I'm concerned, on the half volley, as the ball comes down, hit it with the kind of side foot. As Pickford comes at him, it would have gone under Pickford. But instead, he tries to hit it with his instep, and because of that, it's high and it hits Pickford in the chest and goes off for a corner. 66th minute, Kudus gave away a silly free kick in a dangerous area. 67th, Bergvall blocked a shot, corner not given. Frustrating from Brennan Johnson in the 69th minute, just needed an easy 5-yard ball to Kudus, which would have given us a good chance, but he overhit it. Bentancur booked for a professional foul in the 70th minute. Important that he did that. Another huge save from a deflected shot at his near post from Vicario. 72nd minute. 73rd minute, Everton diving. Just made note to Everton diving in the box time and time again, trying to get a penalty. And then a huge block from Polinia, who again, for me, had a great game from a shot just on the edge of the box. Made a note in the 75th minute, Spurs won't keep the ball. 76th minute, Barry shot deflected over after one straight ball. Sarr comes on for Kudus. Sarr offered us really important energy after he came on. 83rd minute, I made a note to say the ref's terrible, giving everything to Everton. 85th minute, Rishi does well on the left, but all he has to do is hold up the ball, unable to do so again. 87th minute chance for Spurs, but it was offside. All came from us for once in the second half, keeping the ball in central midfield. And then the 88th minute, the third, the one that made it clear. Brilliant transition from Spurs. Porro with the cross from the right, headed back at the back stick from Rishi, and Sarr with the late run nods it home. 5 minutes of added time. Johnson came off for Tell. Van de Ven given the man of the match. And I'll just end my post-match reaction video by going through the team and giving my scores. I'm giving Guillermo Vicario 10 out of 10 for his performance. Absolutely magnificent. Clean sheet away from home. Unbelievable saves. Pedro Porro, strong 8 out of 10. Did well against Grealish. Great player, Grealish, playing really well, but to keep a clean sheet, I'm going to give high ratings to all of those Spurs backline. Danso, 8. Van de Ven, 10. Jed Spence, 7.5 today. We missed the balance of Udogie, but Spence did what he had to do other than being beaten pretty early on to the byline by Njai. He did well up against Njai. Central midfield, I'm going 7.5 for both Bentancur and Polina. I think they played really well, and I think they're vital for Spurs. And I think those Spurs fans who think they're not vital for us, they're going to have a bit of a hiding to nothing when Frank does choose to rest one of them in a game, and I think we'll get played through far too easily. Xavi Simons, I'm going to give a 6. Not a great game for him. Tried hard, got a bit of an injury. Kudus, I'm going to give a 7. And then I'm going to give Kolo Muani a 7 as well. His hold-up play was good. And Brennan Johnson, I'm going to give a 6. Not his best game either. But the most important thing, huge 3 points for Spurs. We were disappointed last week when we didn't get up to third place when we had an opportunity to do so, or second place. Today, we have managed to get up to third place in the Premier League, going into a home game next week against Chelsea. But before then, Carabao Cup, chance to get into the quarterfinals, away at Newcastle. Obviously, they're brilliant at home, but Spurs, amazing away record. Let's see what we can do over there. Fantastic win for Tottenham Hotspur today.